Hi all of you. This examination that you're going through, इसके cycles में prelims हैं, mains है, interview है, and the kind of uncertainties this examination throws up. I'm sure many of you are frustrated, some of you are disappointed, some of you confused also. The results आती हैं. What happens is our expectations are always there and hope always is there that we would have qualified. But when the results are negative, जब आपके मार्क्स आप सोच रहे थे अच्छे आएंगे और आते नहीं हैं, या फिर अकॉर्डिंग टू योर प्रिपरेशन उस टाइप का रिजल्ट्स नहीं आता है, to some extent your desperation, your frustrations are justified. So this video is essentially a small conversation कि how do you deal with this kind of problems we face almost every year, every examinations. 3 प्रोसेस में जाता है, प्रीलिम्स के बाद में frustrations हैं, मेंस के बाद frustrations हैं, फाइनल रिजल्ट्स के बाद frustrations हैं. So this is a very complex process that you all have to go through before many of you qualify. हालांकि हाँ, there are lot of aspirants who also qualify in the first attempt, and maybe they do not face as much of grind. But most of us do take time. Most of us have taken more than 2-3 attempts sometimes, and yet sometimes we fail to achieve our targets. Now the process of preparation में एक बहुत अहम skill है that the only way you can deal with this problem of frustration is if you have a larger purpose and goal why you are doing this. हमारे जब aspirations limited to exams ही रह जाते हैं, exam clear करना है, एक particular question solve कर देना है, मेरा aspirations are about कि एक stage निकल जाए, okay, फिर आगे we'll see what happens, then it becomes a small goal and not achieving that always makes you more desperate. पर अगर आपके प्रिपरेशन में एक लार्जर विजन है, एक लार्जर पर्पस है, एक लार्जर ऑब्जेक्टिव है, which can be anything that drives you. It could be about social change, it could be about some important aspect of a social reform, it could be about some meaning to your life. I think the examination का preparation will not be as dramatic. कहते तो हैं, pleasure lies in the process, the pleasure lies in the journey. This is tested very, very strongly in the preparation for UPSC examination. There are a lot of people who go through the mechanics of preparation without really thinking कि ये कर क्यों नहीं ये चीज. And I'm inspired by this idea because I realize कि no matter how much you achieve, no matter आपके कितने goals आपके meet हो जाएं, there's always another goal to aspire for. There's always another target that drives you. आप अपनी लाइफ देखें, I'm sure आप schools में थे, your target could have been doing good in schools and the examination for the schools कि board अच्छे हो जाएं. फिर आप class 12 में जाते हैं, वहाँ पे अलग टाइप का ambitions होता है आप लोगों का. फिर आप कॉलेज जाते हैं, you do your grades there. Some of you look for jobs after the college कि campus selections हो जाएं. The process of aspiration never ends. The process and the whole idea of a new milestone never ends. So अगर आपका preparation, आपका पूरा life journey is tuned towards some bigger goal that goes beyond these milestones, and then the milestones are those smaller achievements towards that bigger goal, your process will not be as frustrating. I'm sure there are many amongst you जिनका attempts खत्म हो रहा है या फिर खत्म हो गया है. Your frustration is understandable. Your pain is palpable. Your desperation and that sense of futility, हमें पता है. We have been through this. But I do not think that you should be giving up on life, giving up on your career prospects. You should not be entirely disheartened कि आगे कुछ नहीं है. In fact, I always tell students कि 2-3 attempt तक समझ में आता है कि आप try कर रहे हैं. But after 2 or 3 attempts, and I would say 3 attempts for most of you, you must choose to move on. हाँ, बच्चे हैं जो qualify करते हैं 5th attempt में, 6th attempt में, but some of them are in the service already, and then they're trying to improve. But mindlessly, you're preparing for a 6th attempt, 7th attempt. I think life is much bigger than that. Learn to move on, learn to look for some other avenues जहाँ पे आपके bigger vision achieve हो पाए. You have to take a call कि this is it and there are other things you want to get into. So my recommendation to all of you, suggestion है कि आप लोग इतने मायूस ना हो, जिसके पास अटेम्प्ट्स हैं एंड यू नो व्हाट मिस्टेक्स यू हैव डन, बिकॉज एक बार प्रीलिम्स दे देते हैं तो काफी आइडिया हो जाता है कि व्हाट आर द गैप्स, व्हाट आर दैट यू वर लैकिंग। अपने आप को एक मिशन मोड में डालें, अपने आप को एक प्रोसेस में डालें, वेर यू नो कि नेक्स्ट 8 months, नेक्स्ट 12 months वी हैव टू कवर दीज थिंग्स टू फोर्टिफाई आवर चांसेस। और 2024 को अपना मे बी अ पॉसिबल लास्ट अटेम्प्ट मान के आप प्रिपरेशन करें। और जिसका अटेम्प्ट्स हो चुका है, यू आर यंग, यू आर स्टिल इन योर mid and late 20s. To say that life is over in this span of 3-4 years is such a big disservice. आप बहुत कुछ सीख के जाते हैं. I'm in touch with so many students who have been preparing and then they could not make it. And I see them so well placed. Yes, it was a struggle for some. It was definitely a grind for another 2-3 years. But the skills that you learn in terms of your ability to fight back, the appreciation that you get reading, whatever you have read, ये आपको 100% काम देगा in the future. I'm sure it will definitely be part of a bigger journey, and none of what you have done, nothing of what you have done will ever be wasted. So move on. But for those who are in the process, एक प्लान के तहत काम करें, एक मिशन मोड के तहत काम करें, गेट इन द टिपिकल मिशन कमांडो मोड एंड मूव टुवर्ड्स अ वेरी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड, वेरी थॉट प्रोसेस, सो दैट 24 आपका अटेम्प्ट शुड बी फ्रूटफुल वन, अदरवाइज अदर थिंग्स टू डू। आपको कंफ्यूजन्स हैं तो प्लीज कम एंड टॉक टू अस, राइट टू अस, यू कैन कॉल अस अप, यू कैन वॉक इन टू आवर इंस्टीट्यूट, आई विल बी देयर और somebody will definitely meet you. आई एम वेरी प्राउड टू से कि हमारे टीम में, बिजनेस टीम में, ऑपरेशंस में, कि हमारे मार्केटिंग टीम में, आई हैव पीपल हु हैव प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर यूपीएससी, दे कुड मेक इट बट दे वेंट ऑन टू डू अदर थिंग्स एंड नाउ दे आर विद मी, helping me build an institution, helping me build a platform, helping me towards developing education pedagogy. And I think these are very exciting times. The kind of demand market में है, the kind of aspiration level students have, and they need mentorship, they need guidance. So many of you who have given the mains, couldn't make it, given interview, couldn't make it, you should come and become part of this bigger process of education, aspiration, mentoring, and the part of supporting many others who aspire for something in this career. I'm reading a book by Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. It's one of the most I'll say inspiring books I have read in recent times. This man has been a survivor of the Nazi camps and the horrendous, the terrible experiences he was forced to face. But something kept him alive, something kept him going. This is a book of sheer positivity, a life driven by hope, a life which he dreamt of that kept him alive and kept him sane. इसका कुछ लाइंस में पढ़ देता हूं and I hope you can derive some meaning out of this. ये प्रीफेस में ही है, पहले 2-3 पेज में ही है. It says, several times Frankl approvingly quotes Nietzsche, he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. He describes poignantly the prisoners who gave up on life, who had lost all hope for a future and were inevitably the first to die. कहने का मतलब ये है कि वो जो कैंप्स थे, वो जो नाजी ऑस्विट्स कैंप्स थे, बहुत लोग मरे हैं, बट बहुत लोग मोस्टली मरे हैं नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ फूड और नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ द टॉर्चर, नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ द डिजीज इलनेस, हाँ वो तो था ही, बट मेनी ऑफ देम डाइड बिकॉज दे लॉस्ट होप इन लाइफ. They lost that hope that sometime the life could be better. But those who had hope, those who had some vision, those who could dream of a better life despite the odds of food, torture, terrible illness, the psychological, you can say, torture they went through, they survived, and they survived sanity. Okay, Viktor Frankl is one of them. There are many ways he justifies this. He says, they died less from the lack of food or lack of medicine, Then from the lack of hope, lack of something to live for. By contrast, Frankl kept himself alive and kept hope alive by summing up the thoughts of his wife, the prospects of seeing her again after the war, and dreaming at one point of lecturing about the war, about the psychological lessons to be learned from the Auschwitz experience. Clearly, many prisoners who desperately wanted to live did die, some of disease, but Frankl's concern is less with the question of why most died than it is the question of why anyone at all survived. इसके फॉलोइंग पैराग्राफ लिखते हैं कि the purpose of life, the way you think could be very different. The different interpretations of कि आदमी लाइफ में क्या कर सकता है और आदमी के लाइफ का गोल क्या होना चाहिए. He says, life is not primarily a quest for pleasure, as Freud believed, or a quest of power, as Alfred Adler believed, but a quest for meaning. So बहुत लोग अपनी लाइफ को अलग अलग तरीके से इंटरप्रेट करते हैं. कुछ सोचते हैं लाइफ इज ऑल अबाउट accumulating achievements and wealth and power and influence. Okay, some see life is all about pleasure. It's about one life, be happy, do the happy pleasure parts, and your life is done. But there's another philosophy that says कि life का purpose है find a meaning for yourself. Of course, a very big philosophy here at play. At a very small thing, हम बताएंगे कि आप लोग जो प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं, आप लोग जो मेहनत कर रहे हैं, मुशक्कत कर रहे हैं, find a meaning to why you are doing this. And then I'm sure the small failures, prelims नहीं हुआ, mains में marks नहीं आए, interview में marks नहीं आ रहे हैं. This ultimately will become a lesser concern and your preparation process will definitely become all the more exciting. So my students, dear aspirants, all the young ones, UPSC जो आपने चॉइस लिया है, IAS as an aspiration जो आपने चूज किया है, this process is definitely a very tough process. This process definitely requires lot of commitment, courage, patience. It requires lot of investments in terms of how you develop your skills. And I will congratulate all of you. इतने young age में many of you thought that this should be part of your life's journey. It only tells me that you are driven by something bigger for yourself. So keep that spirit. Okay, believe yourself and keep working on it. और नहीं हुआ तो it is never the end of the world. 2-3 साल के failures में आप मान के चलें कि आप में भी 2-3 साल पीछे हो गए. That's all. In a life of 70-80 years, which is the life expectancy, 2-3 साल will not kill anybody in terms of lack of opportunity. So take it in the right spirit, be at it, and I'm sure all of you will ultimately bloom with your talents, with your skills. You will have chances where you can showcase whatever has been your talent. The inherent goodness है, वो definitely आपका आएगा बाहर, and it will give you the results. It will give you the fruits that you have always aspired for. It might take some more time. The wishes from my side. अपने रिजल्ट से आप मायूस ना हो, अपने lack of your achievements, the way you defined it, उससे आप परेशान ना हो, काम करते रहिए. And like I said, you're always free to come and talk to us, take advice, whatever we can. Okay, we'll share with you. Okay, but like somebody said, don't take yourself too seriously. There's a difference between working with sincerity and working with too much of seriousness. Be sincere, be committed, and these cycles of rise and fall will happen. You will lose some, you will gain some. Okay, but stop making it be all and end all of your life. My wishes to you, all the best. I hope to talk more on these lines. Keep in touch with us. Thank you. Bye-bye.